Title: Chains of Crimson. Part 3: The Release. The chamber was silent now, but not peaceful. It was the kind of silence that follows a storm, breathless, heavy, trembling with memory. Their bodies lay entwined in the broken shadows of the red lights. She was curled against him, her cheek against his chest, listening to the rhythm of his heartbeat. It was still fast. Not from fear. Not from exertion. But from something deeper. Something primal. His hand rested on the back of her neck, not forceful, not restraining, just present. His fingers idly traced the damp strands of her hair. Each movement sent a small shiver through her, as if her body hadn't realized the fire was over. But it wasn't over. It had only shifted form. She moved slightly, her fingers dancing down the lines of the leather harness across his abdomen, brushing the strange numbers inked below his ribs. 3621 minus 465 is equal to 56. The equation still made no logical sense. Maybe it never had to. What does it mean? She asked softly. He was quiet for a moment. Then he whispered, "It's the number of days I waited." She looked up at him. He didn't elaborate. And she didn't need him to. The room felt smaller again. Not because of chains or walls. But because of intimacy. The air had changed, from domination and submission to vulnerability, tangled in desire. "You're not what I expected," she murmured. He smirked, that same wolfish grin tugging at his lips. "Neither are you." She sat up slowly, the red silk sheet falling from her shoulders. He watched her as she stood, walking across the room with nothing but confidence covering her. "Do you think this changes things?" she asked, reaching for the small black robe that hung near the wall. He leaned back against the chair, stretching his arms above his head, unbothered by the fact that he was still gloriously naked. "I think everything's already changed." She turned, robe in hand. "You still belong to me." His eyes gleamed. "Do I?" She took a step toward him. "Don't test me. I think you like being tested." She stopped in front of him again. Her hand reached out and cupped his chin, forcing him to look up. "I like control." He didn't move. But the heat in his gaze deepened. "I think you like giving it up." She said nothing. Because he wasn't entirely wrong. There was something about being matched. About having someone who didn't flinch under her dominance. Someone who challenged her instead of submitting like all the others. Cain wasn't like them. He was something darker. Something equal. "Are you going to run?" she asked, fingers still against his jaw. He pressed his lips to her palm, slow, deliberate. "Only if you chase me." She dropped her hand. And smiled. 2 days later. Location: the compound rooftop. The city below was awash of flickering lights and distant sirens. The wind carried the scent of rain that hadn't fallen yet. She stood near the edge of the rooftop, arms crossed, a long coat fluttering behind her. Footsteps approached from behind. She didn't turn. "I thought you were gone," she said. "I was," Cain answered, voice low. He stepped beside her. No longer in chains. Dressed now, though still dark and sharp, black boots, leather collar, shirt unbuttoned just enough to show the mark she left on his chest. They stared out into the night together. "No one's tamed me before," he said, almost thoughtfully. "I didn't tame you," she replied. "I met you halfway." He looked at her then. Really looked. Her jaw tight. Her eyes alert. Her posture unreadable. But he saw through it now. He'd been under her skin. And she'd been under his. He reached into his coat pocket and pulled something out, a small silver key. She turned slowly. It was the key to his muzzle. The one she used the first night to unlock him. He offered it to her. "I don't need this anymore," he said. She took it, fingers brushing his. "You're not going back in the cage?" "No," he said, stepping closer, "but I'm not running either." They stood face to face. And for the first time, there were no restraints, no rules, no safe words. Just tension. And choice. "What are we now?" she asked, quietly. He smiled. "Whatever we want to be." She tilted her head. "That's dangerous." "So are we." His hand slid around her waist, pulling her gently against him. She didn't resist. Their mouths met again, slower now. Not claiming. Not battling. But surrendering. To something that couldn't be named. 1 week later. Location: the Red Room. The chamber had changed. The chains still hung on the walls, but they were covered in velvet now. The lights were lower, softer, less crimson and more candlelit gold. There were cushions on the floor. Silks. A different kind of intimacy. She lay on one of the pillows, body relaxed, watching as Kane moved around the room. He wasn't restrained anymore. And yet, he still wore her collar. By choice. "What do you see when you look at me now?" she asked. He came to her, kneeling beside her, brushing a lock of hair from her cheek. "I see the woman who unchained me." She caught his hand. Pulled him down over her. Their lips met again. But this time, it was the beginning of something, not the end. Their bodies moved in sync, no longer predator and prey, no longer master and servant. Just two souls wrapped in fire. And when they came together this time, it wasn't a fight. It was worship. It was freedom. It was love, burning, feral, and utterly theirs. The end. Thanks for watching. Love you all. Please like, comment and share.